Hey all, I just wanted to do a quick video on how I turned my photography hobby into over $100,000 using Microstock, and it all starts in the garage. All right, off to the recycling depot to return these empties and see how much I'm gonna get for my empty cans. So you're probably wondering why I started this video on sort of making some money off your photography habit with the trip to the bottle depot. Yeah, like I said in the car, I collect all my cans, take them into the depot, get my free refund, and then I use that to actually either purchase equipment outright or subsidize the equipment that I want to buy to take my photos or to make my videos. So it's true, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of actually symbolizes the discipline that you need to bring to building a portfolio, making the effort, putting in the time, being strategic, and building a portfolio of images on Microstock that will actually make you money. So yeah, that's what I do, and then I turn that all into the equipment, like I said, that I used to buy or to make photos, and nobody else seems to care about the cans in the house, so it doesn't affect the family budget, and that's where we go. So that's kind of like an intro here. Now I'm going to get into what I've made on the websites in general, and then that's the second part of this video, and then the third part is going to be about how I took that money and then I turned it into a permanent sort of earning machine. So there's really two parts coming up: the stock photography portion, and then the part two, which I'll talk about later. Okay, so as I said, the first part of this video is really about what I've made on the various Microstock sites. Now, I've been uploading since 2006, so a long time, but I never really got into it until about 2011. I didn't really take it seriously. Probably a huge mistake, because the earlier in time you started, the better. Although who knows where things go from now and forward. I mean, it might be a great time to jump in as well. But what I thought I'd do is I just give you an overview of what I've made on each of the Microstock websites. Now, there are a few sites that I contributed to for a while. They disappeared or went bankrupt or were purchased or whatever, and they're gone now, and I've lost those statistics, so I'm just going to give you a ballpark on those. But I'm going to start with the very first website I uploaded to, and that was Dreamstime. It was also my first sale, and since 2006 until making this video, which is August 31st, 2001, I've made $4,992.74, and this is a US denomination. So all these will be in US denominations. So yeah, just under 5,000 on Dreamstime. Expect to hit 5,000 here in not too long. Looking forward to that, actually. The other site that I started off right away building a portfolio was Shutterstock. Shutterstock is a site most microstockers know and contribute to. There's been good times and bad times, that's for sure, and things are changing now with Shutterstock again. But my total amount of earnings on Shutterstock is, again, US denomination, is $29,598.45. So I'm just below the 30,000 mark with Shutterstock. So that's a big milestone for me, and I'm looking forward to hitting that milestone. And it's super exciting to hit 30,000 on that site. It's been a lot of effort actually, and there's been some rewards. So that's what you hope for. iStock, probably the top three original, one of the top three original sites for me. It used to be great, iStock. It's picking up a little bit again, and I can't give you a total for iStock because iStock was originally iStock. It was like the original site, I think, that sort of invented Microstock photography sales. But I think it was 2017 maybe that they were purchased by Getty. And so all the stuff was transported over to Getty's site, and a bunch of the statistics were lost. I think they give you a chance to download them, but at that point in time I didn't really care. So I never downloaded the stats for what I'd sold originally. So basically from 2006 to 2015, I don't have any record of what I sold, or what I earned actually, or what I sold, to be honest. But from 2015 to 2021, so 2015 to now, I have $6,894 in sales. So yeah, I would suspect that there's probably at least another $3,000 not there, maybe more. So it could have been up above 10 for sure. So yeah, getting it close to the 7,000 mark right now on the amount of stats that I have, based on the amount of stats I have now. So that's pretty good, and it's still ticking away. It's sort of miserable when you go up and then you go down on a site like iStock, but that's the trend in the industry, particularly if you don't have a big factory. And I guess even if you have a factory, your earnings are still going down. So adobestock is formerly Fotolia, again an early site. It was a tougher site to make money off before Adobe acquired it and then sort of integrated it into the cloud plan. Since that integration, it's become a lot better of a site, to be honest, and the sales are becoming much more regular and much more profitable. Now we're faced with that free site, which we've most of us, I think, have been selling images into for those 1-year licenses. So don't know where it's going to go. I do hope that Adobe continues to perform well. But so far in Adobe, I have made $6,910. So yeah, a good site, a growing revenue stream. Sort of compensates for the loss in iStock and Shutterstock to a certain extent. But we'll see where Adobe stock goes in the future. I mean, it might be downhill. Or a steep downhill or a shallow downhill. I don't know at this time. Could be up, but we'll see. 123RF, a site that I used to make money on quite a lot of, actually. Well, relatively speaking, it was okay. Declined significantly now, and I might give you a peek into my 123RF decline in my next earnings report, which will come up at the beginning of August here. But I have made $2,646.84 off 123RF in total in my lifetime with that site, and again, probably joined around 2006. So that's what I've made over the last decade or more. Okay, Big Stock. Again, it's been around for a long time, been a contributor to Big Stock for a long time. And I've made $2,121 on Big Stock. It's hard to believe, actually, given how much of a dribble it seems. It's like pebbles. But I think earnings were pretty good there, pretty steady. I used to make $50 a month-ish on Big Stock before that kind of dropped to $4 a month. So, things were okay there, and I made my money during my time. Too bad I hadn't have uploaded more, but that's just, that was my life at the time, and so no regrets, right? Canstock. Again, surprising when you look at the totals. I have made $936.37. Now, to be just under 1,000 on Canstock surprises me because it feels like nothing ever sells there. And maybe it's just more recent times are more stuck in your mind, and you sort of forget about those days where things used to sell. It's never been a great site. It's only royalty free, no editorial. I've never uploaded video. I don't even know if you can upload video there. You probably can, but I've never tried. Probably have to sort that one out. But that's Canstock, just under 1,000. Deposit Photos, site that, it sells. It's always earning me $20, $30 a month. I joined that later on because I don't know if it was around back in the original days. I think it popped up a little later in time. So I joined later in time, and it's always been a low value site, but it's steady as she goes. And my earnings there are $2,182, so just under $2,200, which is pretty good. My most recent site joining is Pond 5. I don't know why I never joined it. I had enough, I guess. I've earned $145 on Pond 5 and 52 cents, primarily video sales. So it's a little bit, but hopefully there's a future there, and it'll be a focus for video going forward. So there's that. Archangel, the book cover stock site, one sale on Archangel, and I earned $395 off that. Archangel is a site that I'm actually going to try to start focusing on, particularly given the changes in the Microstock business right now. Now, I don't know if I'm creative enough for Archangel. And I can't sort of force myself to be creative, sadly. But I'm going to give it a go and see what they upload or accept when I upload, and we'll see where that goes, because the sales are good. If you could get 10 sales a year, you might be happy with that, right? And the final site I'm going to talk about is Alamy. I've netted about 400. I think the commission is about 60% on what I'm doing. So I think I'm netting around 400. I've had about $1,000 in sales. Again, a site that I joined very late. I think in 2019 I started uploading. So because of that, it's a good sort of litmus case to see what it would be like to start now and see how much of a challenge it is. I think if I had uploaded originally in 2006 to Archangel and been there from the beginning, I would have made a ton of money off that site. But I don't know what I did. I actually even joined, I think, in 2007, but I never uploaded an image until 2019. Go figure, right? So anyway, 400 I've netted off there. And then I think the rest of the sites, like sites like PhotoDune, StockFresh, Feature Picks. There's a whole bunch of sites that sort of fly by night. You got to be careful about uploading them because you never know if they're going to last. I think I've probably made about $400 off those sites. And then I've made some sales through my own website that were kind of stock linked. Maybe another $300 or $400 on that. Not a lot for me, actually. It's just the way it's been. So I think the total that I've actually made is probably just under 60K, which is something I just added up today for the first time. I've never even considered it before. And I probably made more than 60K actually if I think about iStock and what I don't have for stats. So that's what I've made doing Microstock. It's hard to believe that I'm in the 60,000 range. So that's my total for Microstock currently. Okay, so that's the end of the stock earnings portion of this video. Now I want to talk about how I have taken that and what I've done with that money and how I have turned this this business into a permanent money-making process for me, and I actually recommend it for you. Like, I'm not recommending any specifics or telling you what to do with your money, but I'm going to tell you what I do, and then yeah, you can think about that for yourself, or maybe there's better ways. But I always thought that with a side hustle, sort of passive income like this, that it wasn't worth the effort necessarily on its own. So I wanted it to be something more. I didn't want it to be a bunch of work and then making $200 or $300 a month and then saying, "Wow, was that really worth it?" I mean, 15 years later, when it's 60,000, that's something different, right? Because that doesn't really incorporate the work and effort that's gone into that. So it's actually a pretty small amount when you think about it. So what I've done is I've taken all that money and I have not spent a cent of that on anything else, not on equipment, which is what I think a lot of people get into Microstock for, is to sort of use it to fund their equipment habits, their camera equipment habits, and their video, and their buying their drone and whatnot. Now, I haven't done any of that. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I've used can refunds, like bottle refunds, to sort of finance my camera equipment. And I've been very careful about my camera equipment. I've kept it cheap. I have not bought expensive gear at all. I've been very careful to maintain equipment for as long as I can, to use equipment that's justifiable for a hobbyist and not a professional. And I've been very careful with that, and so I'm happy about that. So what I've taken all the money that I've earned and I've invested it entirely in two different sources. I've invested half of it in the stock market and the other half in a high interest savings account, just to sort of split the risk and make sure that there's a permanent cycle there. Now, what I do with the stock portion is, and also in the high interest savings account, I've in both cases I've looked at solutions that are fee-free options, right? So I'm in Canada, so I don't know what's equivalent in the area or wherever you're looking at, but in Canada, on the trading side, the stock market trading side, there's a website called Wealthsimple, and it provides a trading platform and a bunch of other stuff. Also, high interest savings accounts, and it is an entirely fee-free process, and so I can trade without any trading fees, and it even allows certain shares fractional trading. So you can get your $300 from Microstock at the end of the month, or your 100 or your 50 or whatever. And if you have a trading platform that you're signed up for, and you can even buy fractional, like I could buy shares in Tesla on a fractional basis with the $50 that I earn with no trade fee. I do the interest-free savings as well, just to sort of give me a little bit of balance on the security side of things. But otherwise, that's what I have done with every cent that I have earned from Microstock. That is all 100% gone into trades on the market and my high interest savings account. Now, it's sadly in the sort of the inflationary economic environment we're in Canada and United States, North America. I'm not sure about Europe or elsewhere around the world what the inflationary situation is there coming out of COVID-19 lockdowns. But I'm not sure where I was going with that. Oh yeah, I was earning interest on that stuff and sort of building, and so maybe that interest now is not hitting the inflation line, so I might have to reevaluate there. But on the other side, I've done very well on my trading platform, and I've built it up slowly, and so I'm well over 100,000. So essentially I've taken that Microstock money and I've doubled it now, and so hopefully you know, all things being equal and the world not changing for the negative too much, that that money that I made on Microstock will continue to grow over time. And so no matter what happens with Microstock now, if they all shut down or go to free distribution, then I know that the money that I made and the effort that I put in is going to continue to pay off. And so, yeah, it's just what I've done. And I think when you can layer your earning strategy, and so for me, it's building a market strategy around my stock market, or it's building a stock market strategy around my Microstock income, then that work becomes much more justifiable from a sort of a effort and reward scenario. So yeah, that's what I've done. Let me know what you do with your money. Let me know if you think investments are a good idea with your Microstock earning. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Spend it on equipment. But that's just what I've done. Hopefully this has helped you, and or at least you found this interesting. I think probably next video I'll do is on my August 2021 Microstock earnings. So we'll see you on the next one, and you all take care. Cheers.